This week on Dedicated Discussions, we bring you sexism in video games again.
Did you buy all the PlayStation Vitas? Because somebody did.
And Bioshock Infinite makes a cameo on Fox News.
Snicker.
I'm
Jeremy.
I'm Dan.
And this is the Dedicated Server.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Dedicated Discussions. As you well know, I am Dan, and this is Jeremy.
Hello, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July!
Woo! America!
Do you know anything fun for 4th of July?
I am working.
Oh, yeah, I have off. What I'm doing is I'm editing this video and uploading it for all of you to see.
And I have to go work at the comic book store because people want their comics on the 4th of July.
I want my comics on the 4th of July. Bring me my comics.
You don't even read comics.
Yes, I do. Not nearly as many as you do, but I do.
That's very true.
Okay.
So what's on the docket for this week,
On
Dan?
the docket this week
feels like it was kind of a short week.
It was a short week, but I mean, it was July 4th. I mean, nothing was going to be released this week. Nothing big, at least. But on the docket, we have more sexism in video games, sadly.
Well, that's a sexism and racism, and
I hate talking about this subject.
It's forefront on the national consciousness right now.
I really don't like jumping down companies' throats about this. It's just, this one is so blatant, and they posted it on their Facebook page, that basically the International Esports Federation, which is holding a Hearthstone tournament soon, they were not allowing female players to play in the tournament.
Like, at all?
At all.
At all.
At all. And that's not the only one. They also weren't allowing them in Dota 2 or Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Why?
Okay. The reasoning behind it was because they were classifying esports as a sport, and male and female players don't play together. That's the reasoning they gave.
Okay. Well, let's pause and talk about that for a second.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody that's watching this video that I play video games and I don't consider them a sport.
Yes.
I don't understand why you would have to apply the same rules that you would to a competitive sport where there's no physical interactions between men and women at all. There's no physical contact whatsoever in playing a video game against a woman if you're a man, or a man if you're a woman. Why do they have to classify this as a sport?
Because it has sports in the word esports.
That
would be the only reason I can see why.
And that is actually the reason in a Facebook post from the International Esports Federation that they gave. They said, and I quote, "We know that esports is largely dominated by male players, and female players are actually a portion of the overall player base."
Which I do not agree with personally.
By hosting a female-only competition, we strive to promote female gaming on a global scale.
Now, by them saying this, they're basically saying, oh, hey, we don't think there's enough female gamers, so we're going to put you in your own league and be like, oh, hey, they're all over here, guys.
Hey, good job. You guys tried really hard.
Yeah, that's how I see it. That is my opinion.
That's how I see it as well. They kept going, though.
Okay.
According to them, due to international standards, the International Esports Federation is very close to getting esports recognized as true sports like it should be. Part of that effort is to comply with the international sports regulations. For example, chess is also divided into male and female leagues. Dan, there's a problem with that. You want to know why?
My ass has been kicked in chess by a female before.
Yes, but also at competitions like the World Chess Tournament and all of that, females play males all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a battle of wits, smarts, intelligence, strategy, logic. And, I mean, only thing you're adding in most of these video games is reaction time.
And, I'm sure there's studies that show, oh, there's a difference in reaction time between men and women, or there's no difference, and that none of that matters.
No.
This is a video game tournament. Everybody should be able to play everybody, regardless of race or gender.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And because of the blowback they got on Facebook,
They got a lot of blowback.
They got a lot of blowback. Because of all of the blowback, they actually just changed the rules and are actually allowing women into the tournament now.
We know that was, oh shit, we fucked up. And they.
I mean, they're still holding female exclusive tournaments as planned, but women are also able to play in the quote unquote men only tournaments.
I don't get that. Why still have the females? Only ones.
I don't. I mean, to be fair, they also, before this happened, had tournaments where there were no male competitors allowed and only females, but that's the same argument.
Exactly.
There should be no difference or divide.
Exactly. If you're getting rid of one, you gotta get rid of both.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is just like a band-aid. Eventually it's gonna scab up again, and people are gonna be like, oh hey, I want to play this game too.
Yeah, it's too little too late, if you ask me. They're just trying to save public face, and frankly, it probably isn't going to work. They're going to have to take a long, hard look in the mirror before they run these tournaments again and figure out how they can make it work.
I kind of have to slightly disagree with you. Because, okay, because the Esports Federation just sets up the tournaments for these games, okay? People don't join tournaments saying, oh, it's hosted by the International Esports Federation. They're going for the video game most of the time.
Okay, fine. They're going for just the game.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they changed the rules for these tournaments already because of the blowback they got. Why can't they? If they want to be recognized as an esports federation and get recognized as a sport, they have to be able to govern these tournaments.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I feel
they've already flip-flopped on all of their rules before their tournament started.
Because of the point that esports is in right now, I feel like the fact that they fixed this so fast, it might get swept under the rug in a few months, as long as no one says, oh, hey, we want no more female-only tournaments.
I think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to have to make all tournaments for all genders. And I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, like one out of two things is going to happen. You're going to get that blowback from the female-only tournaments, and it should be all sexes for all games, or it's just going to get permanently swept under the rug.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. I hope it really changes all of this feedback they got and the blowback changes it, and it's just made all genders, and then we'll be able to truly move on.
And speaking of moving on, let's move on to PlayStation. And
PlayStation 4?
No.
I have one of those.
No, well, rather Sony, and what the PlayStation 4 is now doing for the PS Vita.
I have never owned a Vita. I do want to own a Vita, but it might be hard to find one now.
Why is that, Jeremy?
Well, a report came out this week on Forbes saying that Sony is having a lot of problems right now fulfilling demand for PlayStation Vitas.
Wait, you're telling me that the little handheld console that everyone looked at like, oh, that would be cool, but never really got, is now so high demand you can't get it?
That's what I'm telling you. Earlier this week, the Vita was not available from e-tailers like Amazon, Walmart, or GameStop because they did not have any supply. Sold out. They had to take the product off their page. There was such high demand.
Okay. First, before we go into why this is happening, I would like to say that this makes me want a PS Vita now.
Well, of course it does. If somebody tells you can't have something, you instantly want it. Like, damn,
absolutely.
You can't have ice cream.
God, I want ice cream right now, Jeremy. I might be back in like 20 minutes. I gotta run to the store.
I don't think I can entertain these people by myself for 20 minutes, Dan.
Just show them your Star Wars collections.
If this was a video podcast, I could.
This is a video podcast, technically. Technically.
Maybe someday, everybody, I can give you a tour of my Star Wars collectibles.
Anyway, we need to get back to the topic on hand because we know you can talk about the Star Wars collectibles forever.
Fine. But I have a PS4 and I want to do remote. My number one goal before the end of the year is to have a PlayStation Vita so I can do remote play. I think remote play is a great idea.
Now, that was what it was supposed to do for the PS3, but it just didn't take off.
No.
But now with all the features available on the PS4, it's kind of open to it.
Agreed.
And weren't there a few other things that happened with the PS Vita that's increasing the sales?
Well, they introduced the Slim. They introduced...
wasn't it the Borderlands 2 bundle?
That's correct, the Borderlands 2 bundle. And it's growing. Their number one market is still Japan, but they're seeing a definite increase and uptick in demand for the Vita in the United States now. They're not crediting it to any one thing. Overall, people are just more aware of the brand now, and that's what they're crediting it to. But let's be honest, it's probably the PS4.
Yeah, guaranteed. It's PS4's made for that out-of-console experience. It's made that you can stream with friends. You can play the games while you're not there. You can play games with someone else on their console without being there now.
Yeah, and the other big reason is because a lot of people are finding it easier to find and discover new indie games on the Vita. At first, everything that was going on the Vita was Uncharted Vita or Assassin's Creed Vita, or it was all ancillary games to AAA titles. Now, it's more about the indie games.
Which they spent a whole 5 minutes talking about at E3, as we all know.
Well, they didn't spend more than 5 minutes talking about the Vita at E3.
Yeah.
Which you'll know if you listen to our previous video of covering the Sony press conference at E3.
Shameless self-promotion.
Basically, it's just good news to hear that it's not dying a slow death like everybody claims that it was.
In 2 years from now, it would have died. But now it's like, oh, hey, we have something that matters.
And while they'll never compete with the 3DS, ever...
Nintendo will always corner the market on handhelds.
Yes, it's nice to know that there is another option out there for us Sony diehards.
Now, there's one last thing I want to talk about, which isn't quite news, but it's funny to look and laugh at. And, I mean, how many... do you watch Fox News?
Only when they show clips on John Oliver or The Daily Show.
Alright. Well, on Fox News, apparently someone put a graphic behind newscasters talking about politics, and it looks strikingly similar to the logo for Bioshock Infinite.
How similar was it?
Copy, paste, retype the text, and retape together that flag on the bottom that got torn to pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's surprising. Well, I wouldn't really think that anybody at Fox News would be a quote-unquote gamer.
I mean, how lazy... Now, there's always the chance that someone made this from scratch and just saw Bioshock Infinite in the back of their head at some point and got inspiration from that. But if not, how lazy do you have to be to blatantly steal that logo?
And if I'm being perfectly honest, how unflattered would you be if you were the creator of the original logo for Bioshock Infinite to be associated with Fox News?
I mean, while this doesn't have any major implications in anything at all, I have to point and laugh. It's one of those facepalm moments. I think that's all we pretty much can talk about right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, slow news week.
Slow news week. It's a holiday.
Sexism.
Sexism. Hopefully next week we won't have to talk about
I
anything.
really don't want to because
No.
because you know what that Assassin's Creed story made me sad, and, well, yes, it's partially speculation, and people are saying different things, but now we finally have this story that's like, it's thrown in your face, sexism. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it just makes you feel icky.
Yeah, and then
Hopefully next week we can have happy stuff to talk about.
happy stuff.
Like
Game industry.
San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh dear God, I am not ready for San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, you better get ready because it's coming up.
How long do we have? 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Something
Less
like that?
than 3 weeks.
Oh my God. People, in 3 weeks, if you hear exploding on the episode, is because from excitement and stress, my brain is just imploding at San Diego Comic-Con during the recording.
Yep, because we will be recording an episode live from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, we will.
Stay tuned for details. How do you feel about the great gender divide in video game esport tournaments? Let us know in the comments below.
No matter what you think, don't forget to click that subscribe annotation.
Male or female, we would love for you to join us on our Facebook page.
Feel free to like it, as well as this video. I'm Dan.
And I'm Jeremy.
And this is the Dedicated Server.